Chen Xingtong in this best of 7 women's singles quarterfinal. Receive popped up a little bit, and CHEN Meng there to clean up. Can't ask for much more starting off a match. Little deeper serve this time, but the rally comes out. This is one thing about watching 2 of the stronger Chinese players, is that you will get to see a lot of good rallies here. Just a handful of other players will keep the ball on the table quite as long and push back, keep the pressure on CHEN Meng. Bold deep serve to start, doesn't bother CHEN Meng. Now some of the women are coming in for backhands over the forehand side of the table in the receive, but still CHEN Meng staying patiently there. Weights centered on the table. And all that power coming in from CHEN Meng early on doesn't bother Chen Xingtong. Watch her stay for this. Quick anticipation to move deep. And as soon as the ball sits up a little bit, turns for the forehand for the winner. Positioning here, Chen Xingtong waiting carefully. You might have noticed CHEN Meng playing the ball right off the bounce, trying to go cross court, but because she was a little more centered on the table, she didn't have Chen Xingtong deep enough in the backhand corner to be late to the ball. It's one advantage of playing the middle of the table short if you can. Confident on both wings like Chen Xingtong. Oh, ripping backhand. So smooth with that too. First towel break of the game. CHEN Meng just so confident and so smooth. Watch one more time. Sits up a little bit, just tips the head of the racket down, handle up, and snaps through. Excellent angle, creating it quickly from the middle. This is bold, deep to the corner. I think we're gonna see more and more angular play as the match gets deeper and deeper. The winner of this match will play the winner between Miyu Kato and Ju Yuling, world number 1. Now you might be curious to wonder, or to know, how world number 1 and world number 2 ended up on the same side of the draw. Well, Ding Ning at the time of registration was world number 1. So she held the top spot in Kasumi Ishikawa. Ding Ning will battle later on tonight.
6-3.
That length of the serve right near the back edge, it's uncomfortable for Chen Xingtong, as it would be for anybody. They're gonna have to move in, get their feet close to the what would be the cage on most tables, but this cool design on the Stiga table, a little bit different underneath. Oh, after playing it right down the middle, CHEN Meng just a little bit to the forehand. Chen Xingtong is able to recover, put it right back, give CHEN Meng a taste of her own medicine there. The middle medicine, as it were. The amount of strength in the forearm and the wrist of CHEN Meng. She's behind the table by just a step. A deep ball still can overpower and spin Chen Xingtong. Nice step around on the forehand, cross-court shot. Chen Xingtong with some power there. Heavy rotation as well, the racket speed. Second towel of the break. Now CHEN Meng wearing the popular skirt, of course, the neon blinding yellowish greenish skirt from the World Championships is the one that the world still wants to see. CHEN Meng talked about in her Ask a Pro Anything interview. Get some cool fashion from the world number 2. Slow spinny ball.
7-6.
When a player's used to the pace and they're a little bit behind the table, expecting the deep shot, spinning the ball, keeping it a little more shallow on the table, even if just a bit, can really help your cause on the attack. Oh, beautiful punch right back down the parallel from CHEN Meng. She's had trouble here playing this one a little bit more softly in between decisions, but this is a short stroke, stays on top of the ball, just closes the racket, and takes advantage of having Xingtong taking the forehand from the backhand side. So smooth once again, but she changes up her location. That's not an easy shot, as you can imagine. We've seen CHEN Meng play that backhand deep to Xingtong's backhand, but here she plays it out wide to the forehand. Again, flexibility and strength in that wrist. Corner to corner, table not wide enough for CHEN Meng's mind there. Xingtong fighting her way back, still trailing by 2. She's going to have to turn up the ratio a bit, outscore her opponent. Fans still settling in. Got a day full of table tennis here. Now, this is the risk that Xingtong has to take on that ball. She decides a little bit late. She's not going to be able to push it and keep it on the table for a second bounce. It's 3 game points to CHEN Meng. Oh, the edge of the table, but down the line, a risky shot. 1 game point saved by Xingtong. Third towel break of the game, and Xingtong not going to the towel. CHEN Meng a quick dry off. She's got 2 serves if she can get through the first.
Net 8-10.
Don't see the reverse pendulum too often in the women's game. Look at the angles. Xingtong moving wide quickly to bring it back even wider to the forehand. Saves another game point. The opening backhands here. Finally, CHEN Meng tries to create the wide angle. Wider and wider, though. Unless she catches an edge there, Xingtong is going to get the next ball. Second serve and 3rd game point. Oh, CHEN Meng waits patiently and rips it out wide. What a save. After 2 game points were saved by Xingtong, CHEN Meng capitalizes on the last opportunity at 10-9. 11-9, game 1 to CHEN Meng, and we'll be back for game 2 right after this.
Och är även den mest framgångsrika damspelaren på världstouren i år. Så det återstår att se om hennes namne och landsmaninna Xingtong har något att sätta emot i nästkommande set.
Crowd brings in the slow clap as the players come back for game number 2.
The second game.
CHEN Meng 11-9 in game number 1. Maybe a little bit of foreshadowing here for the type of match we will see. Was last week, I believe, down 1-3. Chun Meng came back to win against Zhu Yuling. Now, this is one thing we see with both Chun Meng and with Zhu Yuling. Not only do they have the power on both sides, but they're confident to let the opponent attack first. Block it back. Again, with a quality push, good placement deep on the table, whether it's right at the baseline or fast and deep. Back edge for Chun Meng. They do feel more confident to predict where the ball will go. This is something that Timo Boll is a master of, another player who's been popular throughout his career, but I think this year has really just bounced back up in popularity from his crazy performances against many of the top Chinese players. Strong opening forehand. The racket speed a little bit extra on this one from Chun Xingtong. Now, after the first point of this game, we saw Chun Meng sort of holding her lower back, stretching it out a little bit, and her arm as well after that point. Oh, the blast to finish it. Corner to corner, running Chun Xingtong around, and then the parallel step around. There's the first parallel shot. Nice combination here. Takes 3 in this rally. Quick movement. I mean, this is almost by rote. Chun Xingtong can hit a surprise shot in there. It's going to make it tough for Chun Meng. Chun Meng pretty much driving that car.
2-3.
Chun Meng a little bit tightened up. You can see her shrug the shoulders there. Say, get in. Drive it forward over the table. Fans discussing, watching closely, waiting for their autographs and their selfies.
3-0.
So first towel break and a bit of a run. Chun Xingtong has not been a fan of the towel so far this match. Maybe sweating minimally, just a little bit of wipe on the table here and there. That last one looked like it was more for the table than it was for the dryness of her hand. Sounded like it caught the edge of the racket for Chun Meng. A little bit of change of pace here. Chun Xingtong, in my mind, has really been improving. We saw her last week in Germany, playing a very tight match, if I remember correctly, against Wang Manyu, 12-10 in Game 7. I didn't think it would be that close. Break off the net. Chun Meng gets in, but Chun Xingtong very focused. The recovery here pretty quality. Sits up just a little bit, but Chun Xingtong in perfect position to stay there and finish. A lot of bounces on that forehand rubber before the serve.
Five, 4.
So you can understand what Chun Meng is going for here. She stretches out again between shoulder and the waist, trying to play the middle of the table. We've seen this with many top players in the world on both sides. If the ball's predictably to the forehand, even if it's hit pretty hard, it'll be countered back. Dima and Fan Jiandong, a great example of that.
4-6.
Forehand city right now for Chun Xingtong. Every shot in this rally, she's able to get a forehand into play. Pick her placement on the table.
Net. 4-6.
Oh, beautiful shot.
5-6.
Short side of the table. Chun Meng again, really looking for different patterns here. Chun Xingtong is quick to stay in the rallies and counter. We see this a lot with service too. Chun Meng hasn't explored the table so much. I wouldn't be surprised if later in the match she starts serving from more centrally on the table. This one gets away. Again, from this camera angle, it's tough to tell how high that ball is sitting with depth on the table. But CHEN Meng, with a third ball like that, you would imagine. I mean, we've seen her already take points from more difficult situations on the third ball. So Xingtong breaks a serve here to hang on to a 2-point lead. Oh, back edge of the table.
5-9.
It's as long of a serve as you can give. Guess you could call that a lucky ace.
Six, 9.
It's a bit of a flatter shot here from CHEN Meng. Coming in a little bit shallow on the table, knows that she needs to take it quickly, punches the ball. Still some topspin, but not as much as her opening backhand loops. Oh, that's the second or maybe even third time that we've seen CHEN Meng miss an opportunity that she pretty much earned. Really sets up this third ball. Gets a little bit of hesitation from Xingtong. That's a break for Xingtong. 4 game points for the underdog in black with the serves on her side. Not yet. CHEN Meng, again, in on the shallow shots. Has been a lot more successful. Wouldn't be surprised if we see some flip. We see a deep push or a strong opening shot from Xingtong here, but trying to play it short hasn't worked out in her favor recently. 3 game points left for the server, Xingtong. Soft shot right down the middle of the table, and she takes the game 11 points to 7. It's tied up at 1 game apiece. We'll be back for game 3 to see who takes the lead right after this.
Xingtong gick in i tävlingen osida, tvingades spela kvalspel och sedan i de första stadierna utav slutspelet besegrade hon först och främst japanska stjärnskottet Miyu Hirano, rankad 6 i världen. Och Xingtong vann den matchen tämligen bekvämt 4-1. Sedan gjorde hon processen lika kort med Europamästarinnan från Turkiet, Hu Melek. Och nu är hon framme här och möter världstvåan, vilket inte tycks skrämma henne, i alla fall att döma av senaste setet.
CHEN to serve, love all.
Back for game number 3, CHEN Meng having lost the last game. A little bit less momentum than Xingtong right now. So a little bit deeper behind the table here. CHEN Meng getting into the rallies. I think that's a choice of Xingtong. Again, it was the over-the-table game that CHEN Meng was a bit more successful in game 2. Nice reach here. With that much topspin and a clean shot coming in, you don't have to sacrifice positioning. Get that racket out wide. Stay relatively central on the table after the block. A little bit surprised. CHEN Meng has that shot there from behind the table. She has the time. Looked like she looked down at her equipment for a moment. There has been some shuffling around with equipment, I know, on the men's side of the game. Quite interesting, players testing out different rackets, different combinations.
2-all.
So 2 quick points for Chun Xingtong with her serves. Both players protecting their serve, winning all points. All points have been won on serve. But right on top of the bounce when the shot's right at the baseline of the table can be tough. This is not only the importance of keeping the shot deep on the table, but especially knowing where your opponent is. Shot's much more effective if your opponent's on top of the table. Push him back a little bit.
Net. 2-3.
Little fun fact for you, last month in the New World Ranking System, CHEN Meng was world rank #1. Nice turn here, a little bit of side and top on that, covering the middle with the forehand. There's the placement. See, from the middle of the table, changing it up. It's going to put different pressure on Chun Xingtong. First towel break of the game. Once again, it's just Chun Meng using the towel.
Four-three.
And that's a tough one. Chun Xingtong stomping the foot in anger. Had the opportunity. Could have been up 5-3 right now with that big opening spinny forehand. Back to the middle of the table, Chun Meng. Keeping some mystery on the side. Chun Xingtong, oh, the flip. And countered back, a little bit of help. Little fortune there for Chun Meng. Tough to see exactly what it was. It was clearly not the wide edge, if anything. Even more to the forehand side in the middle of the table.
Net. 5-4.
This has been working out well for Chun Meng, serving from the middle.
Five-all.
Chiquita there from the back of the table. Chun Meng has been shaking out the body a lot, from stretching the shoulder to twisting the waist and the lower back between points. Seems like she's a bit tighter than usual. Only one soft shot in this rally from Chun Meng, and quickly it's back into the gunpowder. Chun Xingtong so quick to move here. But nice placement into the body instead of continuing the cross-court shot. Forced Chun Meng to make a move. Can't get much more powerful than that. Push deep on the table. This is like almost like a home run swing. Look at this. And she recovers so quickly. Chun Xingtong's right back in ready position in case the ball comes back into play. This is the physical conditioning of the Chinese national team. Beautiful forehand to finish. The baseline of the table, Chun Xingtong within one step of the back. And here, right along the back edge of the table, is able to create a forehand. Quick shuffling of the feet, a lot of little steps. Perfect balance there. Now Chun Meng, second serve from middle. Inside out forehand, lets the arm drag behind. Chun Xingtong loses game 1 11-9. Wins game 2 by 4 and has a 4-point lead here. With the serves again, could finish the game with a quite dominant score. The spinny backhand a little bit softer. Chun Meng looking for the blast. It's 5 game points for Chun Xingtong. Clever idea.
6-10.
Tries to let the arm drag behind, take it a little bit late at the baseline of the table as the ball's dropped. Game point saved by CHEN Meng. Bold long serve, but it's not enough. Xingtong takes the lead 2-1. They're going to head to their corners 3. Xingtong in this best of 7 women's singles quarterfinal. Receive, popped up a little bit, and CHEN Meng there to clean up. Can't ask for much more starting off a match. Little deeper serve this time, but the rally comes out. This is one thing about watching two of the stronger Chinese players, is that you will get to see a lot of good rallies here. Just a handful of other players will keep the ball on the table quite as long and push back, keep the pressure on CHEN Meng. Bold deep serve to start doesn't bother CHEN Meng. Now some of the women are coming in for backhands over the forehand side of the table in the receive, but still CHEN Meng staying patiently there. Weights centered on the table. And all that power coming in from CHEN Meng early on doesn't bother Xingtong. Watch her stay for this. Quick anticipation to move deep. And as soon as the ball sits up a little bit, turns for the forehand for the winner. Positioning here, Xingtong waiting carefully. You might have noticed CHEN Meng playing the ball right off the bounce, trying to go cross court, but because she was a little more centered on the table, she didn't have Xingtong deep enough in the backhand corner to be late to the ball. It's one advantage of playing the middle of the table short if you can. Confident on both wings like Xingtong. Oh, ripping backhand. So smooth with that too. First towel break of the game. CHEN Meng just so confident and so smooth. Watch one more time. Sits up a little bit, just tips the head of the racket down, handle up, and snaps through. Excellent angle, creating it quickly from the middle. This is bold, deep to the corner. I think we're gonna see more and more angular play as the match gets deeper and deeper. The winner of this match will play the winner between Miyu Kato and Ju Yuling, world number 1. Now you might be curious to wonder, or to know, how world number 1 and world number 2 ended up on the same side of the draw. Expected it completely the other way. That is the natural thing to expect with the spin, that inside-out shovel spin. Still a 1-point lead here for Xingtong. Now, by the new world rankings, Xingtong would be number 51 in the world currently. That being said, leading against world number 2, so think about that for a minute. Risky shot down the line pays off. And the first one from a timing standpoint, that one right there was pretty much a fade back, sort of keep the ball in play and try to keep some topspin on its shot. But once she gathered her balance, her composure, had a bit more forward motion, the legs behind the ball, was able to pick her placement on the table and still keep the power on. Oh.
3-4.
Seen some service errors at crucial moments in this tournament. Shushin game 1 against Harimoto. Although that's another story for later on when we get into the men's bracket. side of the table off the top of the net. CHEN Meng right there. And some fun net balls and recoveries here. Sweden with a rich history in table tennis. I had the chance to play the #1 11-year-old in the country last night. After he beat me, I demanded a rematch, and he beat me again. So there we have it. Go Sweden. Nice touch, CHEN Meng keeping it at the back edge of the table. Again, we've seen how destructive that forehand topspin shot can be from Xingtong. She gets a lot of racket speed, stays very loose. But if CHEN Meng keeps it right at the back edge of the table, there's going to be a little bit of hesitation, understandably so. Nice placement, surprise. Now here's CHEN Meng, backs up her opponent. Xingtong is going to have a little trouble moving side to side while she's stepping back. It's a good time to play the ball wide when someone's running back off the table, still in movement.
Net 6-4. Net 6-4.
One example of the players agreeing on the let's service before it was called. Third time.
6-4.
No limit to the amount of lets you can have. I don't know if I've seen 4 in a row before. Come on, CHEN Meng. Four. We've got 4.
6-4.
This is my personal let record watching. Out of all the records to hold, this might not be the most glamorous, but still quite fun to see. Can she do 5? Can she raise the bar? Oh no, but she gets a serve receive
7-4.
into the net. All those lets paid off. 5th time's a charm, as they say. Nobody says that. I just did. 3-point lead for CHEN Meng, second serve. That one rides
5-7.
along the top of the net before crawling off. Second towel break of the game, still a 2-point lead here for CHEN Meng. Official hanging in there for 4 lets in a row. She deserves a towel break. Oh, back edge of the table for CHEN Meng.
5-8.
We know that she can find the top edge of the net. You know, all that coming after a service error earlier in the game, too. A faint edge from CHEN Meng, but not the faintest we've seen at the top level. Women's World Cup, Game 5. Nice play. CHEN Meng corner to corner, has Xingtong chasing and then finds the middle. That 9 just doesn't want to go down. Much like Xingtong at 9-5 last game with 2 serves, it's CHEN Meng, flip side. Same side, but they have flipped sides. Ooh, these high arcing shots. The first one from Xingtong down below the table. Bother a lot of players, but CHEN Meng calibrates, stays on top, and now has 5 game points. Rocket backhand from over the table. Game point saved. This is the inverse of last game. Four game points for CHEN Meng.
Net 6-10.
Yeah, just 1. Not as impressive as CHEN Meng's 4. From the middle, CHEN Meng takes it 11-6. Completely quickly flips the score and ties it up at 2 games apiece. The battle will be close, and the battle will continue. Game 5 coming up right after this. And as the players come back for game number 5, again, a warm welcome from the crowd who's excited to see this world-class level of play. But Stockholm is no stranger to world-class table tennis.
CHEN to serve.
Legends
Level.
of table tennis for years and years, having played here representing Sweden. Arguably the greatest of all time, Jan-Ove Waldner. Jorgen Persson spent some time competing here as well. Stellan Bankston, Wolf, many others.
0-1.
Down the middle of the table, getting a late stroke from CHEN Meng. Chun Xingtong with the first point. Good throw from the volunteer in the crowd. Getting some applause from the locals. Top of the net now. Chun Xingtong starting strong. Now still a long way to go. The 11-point game much shorter than the games used to be. Of course, 21 points back, what, 2001 and before. That being said, things can take a quick turn. Chun Xingtong moving into the center line. I love that stomp. That's the stomp of confirmation that the ball's missed the table. Chun Xingtong so fast in those opening backhands. A lot of similar qualities, though, in terms of being able to change pace and keep up with the opponent's pace. Not fazed by the big opening shot. A little bit more rotation on this. CHEN Meng, a little bit more upward motion on that stroke. A fine balance between creativity and muscle memory. Again, you practice something a ton of times, you have perfect technique and foundation. Then you've got players like Swin-Ying Xia, Zhu Yuling, CHEN Meng. Oh, right down the line. From that far away from the table, Chun Xingtong is just going to have too much trouble covering the ground. Pushed back, wider, right to the corner. But the reason I mentioned those 3 names before is the ability to create different shots, different trajectories, depths on the table, control the speed quite well.
3-all.
Chun Xingtong has forced a lot of missed shots out of CHEN Meng, a lot of those frustrating loops. Again, when you're strong on the wings and the middle, sometimes players will get frustrated trying to hit it past you wider and missing the table wide. One thing you can always work on, making less holes in your game, giving your opponent less options to find your weakness.
3-4.
Clever idea. Again, soft touch, CHEN Meng controlling the softballs until Chun Xingtong finally left an in-between shot, half long, and CHEN Meng a little bit late decided, you know what, I've got to try and play it deep to the corner. Where footwork comes into play. Oh, a bit of a break.
5.
Sits in, it's shallow, but not easy to get to before the ball is dropped. Not to mention the rotation on the ball. Very difficult to lift the ball while it's way out in front of you. Another reason that footwork is so important against choppers.
Six, 4.
What appears to be heavy rotation. CHEN Meng overlifts. Again, that tacky forehand rubber. Both players using Chinese rubber on their forehand side. You can hear the difference in the sound as soon as it comes off that forehand. Xingtong. Big opening stroke with the backhand. 2 smaller strokes and then the turn from the middle. How quick she is to turn. The feet barely even move. Just a little pivot. And that's enough to get the weight on the right foot to use in that forehand. No break for CHEN Meng. Right in near the microphone. Second towel break of the game, and Xingtong with a 2-point lead still. Xingtong is going to head over to the towel. Good little spin there after not being able to reach the net ball. It's not the first time we've seen CHEN Meng miss some shots that she was making early on in this match. Typically at this level, it's not nerves alone. The variation, we have to give credit to the opponent, Xingtong, for varying her shots. Power for power, many shots here. Xingtong gets a more careful shot early in the rally. CHEN Meng opens up softly, and immediately Xingtong starts punching through, starts looping with power. The aggression comes on right away. People will be writing on YouTube, why is this sped up? It is not. That is how fast they are moving. Edge of the table for CHEN Meng. Goes to the back once again. Very curious to hear what's going on. The physical demand in this speed of play is definitely tough on the body. CHEN Meng versus Li Hoqing and Matilda Ekholm before this. Matilda Ekholm can drive players crazy with her heavy spins and shots from behind the table.
6-10.
So as CHEN Meng tries to shake out most parts of the body, we've seen the legs, we've seen the shoulder, the waist. She's gonna have to shake out 4 game points from her opponent here to tie it up at deuce. A long way to go. Serves on her side. Can't get much better than this. Patience in the backhand corner. Xingtong impressing the world right now. Has a 3-2 lead, and game number 6 is coming up right after this. Players come back for game number 6. It's the woman in black, Xingtong, at 20 years old, world rank number 33 and 51 by the new ranking system, who is leading 3 games to 2. 1 game away from taking out a player with 3 Platinum Tour events under her belt, in her pocket, and other fashion-related metaphors. A little bit off the top edge. Chun Xingtong counters right into the body to start the game. So smooth on that backhand. You have to imagine a timeout here sooner or later. I think if Chun Meng loses this next point, we would see one. But who knows? Again, shaking out those legs. Chun Xingtong, though, was serving from the middle of the table as well. Both players found some success in that. Oh, just missing wide. Again, the hand to the waist, the body language we're seeing from Chun Meng out here. It's a little bit difficult. It's not the body language you'd hope to see from a player in the middle of a comeback. Although we have seen her come back many times. A Game 7 warrior. Oh, so many. She hits 2 winners in this rally, but only one wins the point, of course. That is a must. This shot right here, Chun Xingtong saves it with the racket out wide, and as soon as she hits it softly, Chun Meng takes advantage of the open forehand court. The fact that she can keep herself in balance, for a moment there she was backed off, comes right back in.
2-3.
A little bit off the top of the net again from Chun Xingtong. After getting the racket head straight up on Chun Meng's side, Chun Xingtong needs to take advantage of that. And it takes a few more shots before she's able to finish the point. Middle to middle battle, but Chun Xingtong again confident on the backhand side, has covered the wide backhand. It's what keeps Chun Meng looking for a wider and wider shot. Both players have missed their share of shots going wide, though. Excellent angle. Takes it from over the table on the forehand side. Not an easy ball, right at the back edge. Watch this, popped up right at the back edge, probably parallel on the plane of the back line. Comes into it with some racket speed, though, a little bit of side and top to bend it away. Chun Xingtong reminding herself to move to the middle for some success. Nice counter here. Heavy topspin coming in. Chun Xingtong has won a fair share of points with that heavy rotation. Sits up just a little bit in a closed racket from Chun Meng for a parallel shot. That'll leave a little welt there. Little kiss mark on the leg for later. And when we think about the nations in the world, China's been dominant in table tennis, while recently it's been a little bit in question on the men's side. Last week in Germany, the Chinese women, 4 Chinese women lost to the young Japanese players. But still, the Chinese roster very strong. Beautiful shot down the line. Chun Meng extends her lead. Now, I bring up this age difference because from a generation standpoint, we've got Liu Shiwen and Ding Ying here. back in the tournament scene for first time in a little while. But they're the leaders of the squad, the two at the top of the big four, who are the big sisters, so to speak. And then after that, Zhu Yuling and CHEN Meng. But Chun Xingtong, one of a handful, with Wang Manyu. A few others we've seen that are quite young. Yesterday saw very promising Zhang Qiang, one of very few pen holders in the game, in the women's game, who uses the reverse pen hold backhand, like Ho Ting Ting from England. Deep and loaded with spin, right into that elbow. Gets CHEN Meng to turn. Seemed like CHEN Meng was second guessing herself, saying you've got a ball with a lot of spin deep on the table. Why not play it safely back into the backhand corner? Not this one, that one. Especially when you have a player so out of position who's going to be moving wide to the forehand anyway, likely to cover the table. Oh, big point. For me, this saves the timeout. If CHEN Meng loses that point, it would be 8-7 after 8-4. Gaining back a bit of momentum, grabbing the reins here. No dice on this, a bit of side spin to carry the ball off the net out to the side. If that ball's straight topspin, it might come down on the table. Ooh, top of the net now, 3 game points. CHEN Meng is looking to take this match in 7 games once again. Give me a second here. Okay, already. Ripping backhand cross court. Chun Xingtong with the power saves a game point. 2 more to go. A very patient play. Soft touch. One more, a little bit of side spin on that forehand. CHEN Meng says, okay, okay. And CHEN Meng takes it 11 points to 8. We are going the distance. The deciding 7th game coming up just after this. It's the battle of the Chuns, CHEN Meng and Chun Xingtong. Game 7 right after the break. Players come back for the last game of the match, the last possible game, and the one that will determine who moves on to the women's singles semifinals. This is the last of the World Tour events, with the World Tour Grand Finals in Astana, Kazakhstan coming up. Good time to be on camera there. So CHEN Meng to start off game 7. A flash in the crowd already. Oh, break off the top of the net, the dribbler. Little fortune there for CHEN Meng, still stretching out the shoulders.
Net 1-0.
This is another example of when the opponent's backing up a little more shallow on the table. Spin shot to stay low from Xingtong. Cracking forehand for the point. Many young players here, up-and-comers in Sweden, studying the game. CHEN Meng drawing the ball. I was curious to see what would happen with Xingtong deep in the backhand corner. It does leave open the rest of the table for a forehand. CHEN Meng trying to play wide there. Beautiful inside-out forehand from the middle of the table. CHEN Meng's going the wrong way. She's covering the majority here, playing the odds, and Xingtong gets clever. I was with CHEN Meng on that. I would have expected it the other way. Xingtong, some quick thinking. I'm just shaking my head in disbelief here, thinking about how strong both of these players are. There are very few flaws, but it's the beauty of watching two of the top players in the world, despite their world rankings. Two of the top players in the world playing each other. And warned to play even faster. Can understand why they would need the break. Coming up with their tactics, thinking about what will be most likely to win the next point. Nice change of pace from Xingtong. Softer shot, still deep on the table. Just missing the contact on that brushing forehand. Again, soft right near the back edge of the table. It's amazing how much protection you can have, how much security you can have with that shot if you keep it near the back edge, and that wry smile. Still a bit charming. Xingtong saying, man, I want to step into the lead. Touch from under the table. Xingtong saves it. And they will switch sides of the table as it is the deciding 7th game and one player has 5 points. Not an easy ball, but it's also difficult for CHEN Meng to read. When someone contacts the ball from under the table, we've seen Simon Gozi many times pull off some impressive snakes. Recently, I believe, against Jung Song-un and Kenta Matsudaira in this tournament, doing a double snake. Hope you'll have a chance to see that on the ITTF Facebook page soon enough. Oh, hooking out to the forehand. A little bit of help off the top of the net earlier, but this takes a lot of footwork. Watch where Xingtong starts. One here, a good 3 or 4 steps, and plays it out wide to the forehand. And now we've got the timeout for CHEN Meng. So we will see what CHEN Meng comes up with. 2-point lead for Xingtong. It's interesting to see the players in umpire chairs. Koki Niwa checking the score, getting ready. His match will be coming up in, well, he's got a little bit of time. A few matches ahead, actually. Koki Niwa will be playing Fangbo later today. 4:15 local time. So for CHEN Meng, she started the match strong, allowing the first attack from Xingtong, playing the angle with the backhand, going cross court. Xingtong hasn't shown a lot of weaknesses on the backhand side. The very first point of the game, CHEN Meng won on her serve, although right now should be Xingtong's serve, adding up the scores. It's been a while since we've seen a very aggressive receive from CHEN Meng. See what Xingtong brings out with the serves from CHEN Meng's timeout. Oh, too wide, too fast. Xingtong diffuses the timeout. The quick fan of the face. Look one more time, middle to middle, one down the line. The angle of this ball to play it off the side of the table doesn't even exit the straight back. Again, that hooking forehand, a little bit of side spin with the top. Chop block comes too long. 2 points since the timeout, and CHEN Meng hasn't been able to capture one. 4-point lead for Xingtong. Trying something new, a fast, bold serve, but it doesn't bother Xingtong. She turns the corner quickly, gets the opening forehand, and extends her lead to 5. Two long serves in a row, a net recovery from Xingtong, and it is 6 match points to move on to the women's singles semifinals. We will not see an exhibition here. Oh, top of the net, Xingtong takes it with a bit of fortune and a very subtle handshake, but not a subtle performance. Xingtong stamping her authority on world rank number 2. Again, 3 platinum world tour events for CHEN Meng, but not this one. It is Xingtong who will move on and continue to put her name on the map, representing the nation of China, the most dominant nation in table tennis. Stick around, we've got another match coming up. It should be an exciting one. Jonathan Groth versus Xu Xin, the Cloud Walker, right after this. Stay here.
Kinesiska världstrean Xu Xin. Den matchen kommer alltså att starta inom kort.